Hey, I'm Sith King,
And I'm Sonic Sons.
and we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And this is next bit in the How to Fix It series. We've looked at Star Wars and Ava and stuff like that before. Now we're looking at The Legend of Korra.
And boy, does it need some fixing.
It needs some fixing. I think we're going to look mainly at Season 2, just because
We just finished
we're on that idea. And so we're going to take the outline, the basic ideas, and what you would do, and pretend you had the budget enough to make a zillion more episodes if that's required. You know, like
Indeed.
Potentially you could imagine a guy, if he'd shown up at the end of Season 1, being like, okay, now we're going to make a big story that takes up 3 books, and whatever. And so we're going to just do this Unalaq Vatu Rava thing. So, where do we start with all that? I want Unalaq to have a better plan.
I want him to be more threatening.
I want to go with I want a cunning villain. I want a guy who's really manipulating things from behind the scenes type of thing. He knows people's psychologies and stuff. We didn't get that
you know
out
what
of those,
Amon was? Amon was a threatening villain. He wasn't planning to destroy the world. He wasn't planning to glass it. In many ways, he was a very reasonable individual. And I mean, that was something we didn't get with Amon or Unalaq. Ozai or Unalaq, not Amon and Unalaq.
Yeah.
Amon actually had some really good points.
Well, he seemed to. At the end, it fell apart, but he seemed to, like, oh yeah, benders. I get that. The whole equal is good. I get that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes the guy more creepy when he seems to have a point, sort of like Ryan in BioShock.
Never played BioShock.
Well, basically, the dictator of the underwater city, like, kind of has a point sometimes. It makes him more creepy,
Yeah, the best way to make a villain, honestly, is to make them right at points.
Yeah, obviously not totally right, but once in a while they got to seem like they know what they're doing. Maybe they, and also to have them, be intelligent in the way they go about their villainy.
I mean, yeah, it's nice to have a Lord Zed or a Doctor Doom.
You have a variety. You have one hand is the complete ridiculous Snidely Whiplash type, and the other hand the more subtle and also intelligent type. And I think that's what we're going to go for here.
Mm-hmm.
So what's Unalaq after? I mean, I would say let's start off. He's going for power. He knows that Vatu is trapped in the Tree of Time, and we're not going to put that in the spirit world. I'm saying there should be 3 of these things. There's the human world, there's the spirit world, and there's this mystic cavern spacey thing I'm going to call Gaia, because that's a cool name. And this is like the heart of the whole planet, so to speak. Not literally in the middle. It's like, metaphysically in the heart of everything. And in that place, there is the mystic disc. And it's basically a big yin-yang thing, but with 4 things. And those are the 4 elements, And then they each have like a circle inside of them that's also spinning and whatever. And this is like the core energy of the whole universe. It powers both the human world and shows up most obviously in forms of bending. And it powers the spirit world too, because there's spirit elements in that disc or whatever. And that's the core of it all. So in our backstory, I'm going to say Rava is a spirit of light, especially powerful, but not like, light incarnate necessarily. Vatu happens to be dark. And his goal is to go find his way into Gaia, get the mystic disc, attain ultimate power, and maybe conquer the world, frick it up, whatever he wants to do. Remake the world in his image, perhaps. That's a slightly more mystic way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had the flashback in Korra, and we saw our first avatar, Juan, he finds Rava and Vatu struggling and frees Vatu, and Rava doesn't bother to explain in the midst of this, like, no, he's the evil one. It might make more sense if Vatu is just sealed evil in a can someplace. He's in a prison somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
And then Juan could find him alone, and Vatu could say, I've been unjustly imprisoned, and there'd be no one else in the scene to say, no, you're wrong, type of thing. In fact, here's a fun, maybe he's sealed away a secret type of, in a temple somewhere type of deal, and Juan hears about this through legend, and it's like a great challenge to go and find, the great treasure at the heart of this. It turns out to be Vatu, and it turns out to be, oh crap, you've been disabling the intricate prison that kept him in there, So that could maybe be something that Juan is up to. I like the idea of the lion turtles having a long history with humanity. I'd like to know kind of where they went, how any of that works. I don't know about the spirits in their world versus occupying ours. Maybe it is just one world to begin with, and then it gets split by the end of this. That could be a thing. I do like the duality of humans and spirits. I like the idea of him bonding with Rava. So let's say he gets kicked out of where he lives. Well, let's say there's continual conflict, sort of racist style conflict between humans and spirits, right? Mm-hmm. And they both have good points, and they both hate each other, and it's like caused a lot of war or whatever, and it's kind of problematic. And the lion turtles are sort of humanity's guardians of some sort. And Juan gets kicked out of where he lives, but hangs around with spirits, sort of finds the balance between the two worlds type of thing, goes on this quest to get this great treasure. Maybe there's a great need for it too. Maybe it's something that will end all the warfare in the world. Like the
Why do I get the feeling that this end all the warfare will be because
everyone is dead? All right, that would be one of those mythic things like, oh, you misread the prophecy type of deal,
Well, yeah, it ends warfare, but it'll also end peace. It'll also end hunger.
Yeah,
also end gluttony.
Yeah, all of it. So that could be cool. So he gets down and he finds Vatu's prison, lets him go, and then Vatu's like, you freaking fool, and he starts morphing people into dark spirits. And he's got to do this thing with the ley lines. Earth I'm going to call it Earth. It just has these lines across it that carry energy, and you have to control enough points, and this is how you open your way into Gaia to get to the Mystic Disc. So he's off doing that, and then Juan meets up with Rava, who explains the whole thing, and Juan suddenly realizes that he's wrong. So they go on a quest. They're trying to, stop him from getting all the ley lines or whatever. He learns more bending.
Oh, darn it.
He learns more bending as he goes. I think I would probably have him learning the bending from the spirits. That was the original idea. Mm-hmm. There was no lion turtle gifting thing, I mean, I guess maybe those are spirits too, but he learns it from the spirits and becomes very powerful that way. And I guess thanks to let's see, do we have lineages of benders at this point already? Is there already this family is fire bending and this family is water bending or whatever? People born with that? Maybe we'll come back to that. I don't know. In any case, he manages to learn all four elements, probably with Rava's help. And they can't stop Vatu from getting into Gaia, but they do follow him in there. And he goes up to grab the Mystic Disc and take all its super energy. So Juan and Rava merge. They become the first Avatar, and they kick the crap out of Vatu. But they can't kill him because he's naturally immortal. But then they bind him. I have this great image in my mind of the disc is floating way up here, 100 feet in the air, and they have this, he forges chains out of raw spirit energy or something, and says something like, by the passion of the spirits, by the knowledge of the humans,
by the power of Grayskull.
By the power of Grayskull. No. I bind thee, and binds Vatu down to the ground. He's totally pinned. His every limb has got a separate chain on it type of thing.
It's a lot of limbs.
It's a lot of limbs, right. So that process of binding him is so strenuous that it gives Juan this mortal wound, right? He's falling over, dying. And Rava, because she is naturally an immortal spirit, and somehow have to foreshadow this, she can trigger a reincarnation status thing. So sort of, I almost kind of imagine the Avatar Force or something being more like a crown that passes down from one to the next lineage, because obviously each person is their own personality with their own history.
Yep.
But the essence of Juan sort of passes down. And if this gets revealed to us so this is Juan passes down to the next guy, and the idea is you have to keep peace in the world because that's what keeps the chains working, right? If there's too much disruption for too long, they start to grow brittle and they might break eventually. Mm-hmm. And then Vatu is going to grab the disc and frick us all to death. So this is why it is important to maintain balance. It's not just in general, it's the devil will kill us all.
Why didn't they move him if he's chained up?
I'm going to go with spirit something. I don't know. There's got to be a magic. There's a reason magic just doesn't work that way or something like that. Maybe Vatu has himself he binds himself to the world of Gaia and can't be moved from it, but he can at least be chained up
Unless he
within the
wills
guy.
it, so that
Unless he wills it. Yeah.
Otherwise, that's pretty silly.
Yeah.
I have unlimited cosmic power. I just can't leave this 8x8 box.
Oh, great. Never mind.
You're god of your prison cell.
Yeah. Well, that would be, that could be an interesting ending. That's not the one I had in mind, but that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You get to be god of the prison cell. And leave him in there with Unalaq. Okay, goodbye. Okay, so we have to keep the peace, and it goes from reincarnation, and Juan's spirit shows up to the second avatar to explain the basics of things. The second one being, I'm gonna make it that one is an airbender or a monk of some sort, so they'd be naturally meditative in the first place and able to do that sort of thing. So yeah, it passes down, and if we're gonna tell all this in a flashback, like we did the flashback episode, first off, you want foreshadowing. You want the notion that there's something important that Juan wants to tell us or whatever, and it's hard for him to communicate because he's so far gone. It's easy to communicate with your recent incarnations, perhaps, but not like the far one, something like that. If we tell in a flashback, I would totally do like, okay, we see it, and then we see him pass down to the next one, and we do this quick montage of him passing down to a whole bunch of different people. And then Aang gets frozen, and there's a world war, and the chains start to grow brittle, right? And then Aang gets back, and he fixes everything, and the chains are like, okay, damage is done, but Vatu's not, not free. And then we see the recent events, and what I will have done is Unalaq has been manipulating all the nations into going to war with each other, into having civil wars, into messing with the spirits mess with them, dark spirits, framing people.
How old is Unalaq in this case?
He's a regular age. He's just, over the last 20 years or something, he's been messing with the global politics. Or maybe 30, 40 years, I don't know. Because he's already a chieftain, right? So he'd be in a position to mess with things, plant evidence against other nations.
Good point.
That sort of thing. So...
have the final straw, the thing that really breaks the camel's back?
Yeah.
Korra's bending being... the Avatar Spirit's bending being stolen.
Oh, so then we could tie in Amon to this.
Yep.
Okay, let's bring it back Amon. Bring it all into one big story. So in the flashback thing, you would see, and then we get to... so the chains are brittle, and then they're okay, and then the more recent conflicts, and they grow more and more brittle, and you totally be this shot of this one chain breaks, which allows an arm to go free, and there's like still a chain around like sort of the wrist of that arm, but it reaches almost all the way up to the disc, and just and suddenly frozen.
Have this in the middle of the battle with Amon. And just provide no explanation for what the hell it is.
Oh, you could do that. I was gonna do like it hits, and we see that, and then we see a shot of Unalaq like walking into the light sort of thing, walking towards this deal, and the idea of that would be, oh my God, Unalaq was behind it all. Like we'd be keeping it secret this whole time. You wouldn't know who the real bad guy was, and then zoom out on the whole thing. And you're like, oh my, the whole time he's trying to get Fatu, and he's doing a thing. And something I mentioned briefly... Do the thing! Something I mentioned briefly, another thing, I like the idea of Unalaq is able to drain energy from dark spirits like a battery and acquire their powers himself, at least temporarily. And the idea is to permanently drain Vatu and have God power himself and use it to his own means. That's his ultimate goal. To do that, he has to get to Gaia. To do the Gaia thing, he has to do this crap with ley lines, and then he also needs Vatu to be free enough so that he can, get to him basically, and drain him, and then get the mystic disc for himself, and basically get God power and frick everything. And it's just this huge long plan, multiple cogs in the machine type of sort of a Xanatos thing. Let's make Unalaq into a Xanatos. That'd be awesome. And you wouldn't even know he was the bad guy for a long time, because he'd be like a father figure to Korra. Have Korra fight with her dad over something. Maybe, he's concerned that she's taking too many risks or whatever, and she brushes him off. And Unalaq is, your father is overprotective. Let me help you. And I'll teach you these tricks, too, of, spirit pacification and stuff. And behind the scenes, he was screwing with everything the whole time, manipulating even the Avatar. That could be cool. I wanted to do this thing of... Oh, yeah, so then I guess if Amon is in on this, Amon is an underboss to Unalaq. You should make it look like Amon is sort of the original bad guy, and turns out not so much. But yeah, Korra could lose her bending, and that would cause so many more chains to start breaking or whatever, and Unalaq is progressively getting warmer out. She would have the bending lost for a while, and she'd like have to be a badass normal for a while, which would be really cool. I mean, watching her adapt. Boomy's still in on this. She'd probably talk to him a lot because he knows how to be a badass normal. She'd talk strategy, try to solve things peacefully here and there.
Ooh, have it so that like the other her other bending capable friends and allies just start subtly distancing themselves from her. It's not even a conscious thing, but like Korra can feel that they're not as into her as they once were. It's not oh, you're not the Avatar, so you're not special anymore.
No, but it's like, hey, we used to do pro bending, and I guess we'll find another member of the team type of thing. No hard feelings, but here we go to practice.
Yeah, or something like that. Perhaps subtly reinforcing Amon's statements that non-benders are discriminated against.
Right, and that could be a thing. And Korra would find the justice in Amon's statements, and I guess we're going with Amon is still actually bad in the end. He wants equalism, but as a launch pad to make himself, the leader of Republic or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you want Amon to be like straight up?
I'm trying to figure out my own plan for what I want out of season 2.
I mean, we can obviously we're brainstorming here because you could do Amon is actually straight up believes in this stuff, and then that would lead to Amon redemption actually, and in the end he would depowered Korra would help rise up and make statements on behalf of the disenfranchised non-benders, and Amon would maybe say, wait, never mind, you actually do understand, right? Mm-hmm. And probably Amon's parents were killed by not a firebender. Unless it's Arnold Firebender, who is a waterbender.
Arnold Firebender.
But, yeah.
Senior acting officer of the Jupiter mining ship Red Dwarf. No, wait, that's Arnold Rimmer.
Right.
My bad. I keep mixing those two guys up.
But yeah, he could. His life has been fricked up by benders somehow, right? Mm-hmm. And he would be on revenge quest to that, and he could be redeemed by the end of it, realizing equalism can mean actual equal. That could be it. He was thinking equalism in the sense of destroy the benders, even after they lose their bending, like throw them in jail because they're bad people type of thing. And then it becomes, oh wait, we can live in harmony type of thing. And wouldn't that be really interesting character growth if you could pull it off? Obviously it would take some time and so forth. That could be interesting. And then he has been manipulated this whole time from Unalaq. He's been getting like resources shipped to him from like mysterious peoples, and he thinks they're sympathizers, and half of them are actually just the government of the Northern Water Tribe, like the sort of Section 31 was it, whatever, the Black Ops people that work for Unalaq, his ninjas or something, have been sending him supplies, and rallying to his cause and whatever. That could be interesting. There could be something evil that Amon does, and it turns out it's not actually Amon. It was like one of the ninjas that did it, and put it to his name, right?
Of course, a ninja that did it.
You know what I mean, though? And another trail of Unalaq is manipulating events, and then he'd want to get the other nations mad at each other, right? Mm-hmm. He'd make it look like, the Earth Kingdom is going to hire Amon to go sneak into the Fire Nation and take away the bending there, and suddenly the Fire Nation is suspicious of the Earth Kingdom and back in the Water Tribes, and just complex. And then you'd meet like leaders in each of these places, and they each have their own personalities, and they'd have some doubts about whether this plot was real, but they have to protect their people. And by the way, I hate those firebenders. Didn't they take over the world that one time? Lingering resentment. Yeah, that should be something. Somebody should have spat at Mako at some point. Not because of his personality, but I know you're going to say that. But also because he's a firebender. Someone should still be prejudiced against firebenders.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't, nearly glass a continent.
Right. I mean, they should have like a reason to go to the Earth Kingdom at some point, and Mako is totally everyone hates him.
Call him an ash maker.
Yeah.
That was used in The Promise. They were calling firebenders ash makers.
I like that.
What are you doing? Why are you siding with the ash makers?
Someone should totally say that. Absolutely.
So, what an ashhole.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that. I'm not really sorry.
As for moving about, if we're going to do this ley line thing, let's say dark spirits are showing up, And Korra figures her first priority is to rebalance the spirits, and that will make everyone calm down a bit. And Unalaq tells her the way to do this is to rebalance the ley lines, you see. You have to go here, and then here, and then here, and do an avatar thing at each location. There's like 100 of them, maybe. And, once you've done them all, it should cause a spirit reset. I mean, I didn't have a better word for it. Reawakening or something. And which will get rid of the dark spirits, and then we can be at peace, and then we can all stop getting mad at each other. Nations could blame each other for that too. Oh, we had dark spirits show up. Are you sure you didn't cause that? Did you frick up a forest or something on your side of the border?
We, the 5 nations, have gathered together to determine who caused the dark spirits. 1, 2, 3. Not it! Not it! Not it! Not it! Oh, damn it! Fire Nation gets shafted again.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Fire Nation gets shafted again. I'm sorry, that is just funnier on hindsight.
So that could be a thing. And then, of course, we'll be dealing with the spirit world and wondering why the spirits have gone dark and what's the original problem behind all this. And Unalaq says it's just sort of a natural variation thing. Or maybe they think says it's caused by the war, or things like that. Or, potential wars, whatever. Terrorist activity. Mako could be an actual detective at some point,
yeah.
You imagine Mako, figuring out Unalaq's behind it all?
No, I can't imagine that.
No, okay, but our new version of Mako, slowly putting the pieces together and wait a minute, this would mean, and then reveals it all or something. Does something clever. That could be awesome. And then Bolin being useful. But she could still have the basic personality you have, but put more details into it. Like we said before about Sokka having so many more details. But anyway, with ley lines, you'd have a good reason to move about. And Team Avatar could go here to here to here, and it makes her easier to write your 1 episodes at a time thing.
Plus, you could visit previous. Heck, there are theories that there are many ley line nexi in populated areas because humans are naturally drawn to sources of energy.
Ah, right.
Well, no, that's a theory in the real world.
Right, but that would apply to the thing.
Yeah, so it would allow you to visit many cities that maybe we visited back in Avatar: The Last Airbender and see how they've developed since then. Like the town that celebrated Avatar Day. It's grown in populace, and they're just as crazy now as they were before.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that.
And the pro-bending team for Avatar Day Town, the Doughboys! Because their traditional food is now unfried dough to celebrate how Aang wasn't fried in oil.
All right. Yeah, we could do that.
No, that's literally their food now.
All right, I could do that. So yeah, and then in each place we find, it'd be like, hey, we've had dark spirits, or we've had, there was an incursion of Earth Kingdom troops that came into our territory, and then we go talk to the troops. Oh, well, we were chasing a dark spirit, and then it turns out they were lying. You could have so many plots just pop out of this, and it'd be really interesting, and Korra could reflect on how it used to be there was one enemy, the Fire Nation, and now it's like everyone's fighting everyone, and it's very hard to know what to do. And that would test her because she's so self-confident. And she would make some mistakes early on. And clearly this guy is the good guy. And screwing it up, And then realizing she has to be more humble. I can imagine these scenes in my head of her realizing, no, I have to talk this out. I have to figure out what's wrong.
Oh, the one thing Korra's bad at.
Yeah. And maybe Tenzin helps her learn that or something. Yeah, stuff like that. So and then I mentioned Amon sort of catches up with her or whatever. Possibly has been hunting her down the whole time because she's a symbol bending, and so she loses her powers, and then she has to get them back somehow. How are we gonna do that? We could do actual spiritual development, cosmic energy in a good way.
Have her meet up with the descendants of the Guru.
Okay, the Guru Bachik. I'm intelligent.
Wait, no, I actually don't know. Guru Pathi. It's
the Guru.
The Guru.
Yeah,
she descend into the Guru and go through spiritual training, but she fails a lot.
Yeah. Or it's something. This is how she would do it. She would have lessons she has to learn.
Have someone join, one of the Guru's students joins Team Avatar to give her training on the go.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, she would have to train on the go, and that'd be kind of cool because Aang was learning the elements, and here she is learning the elements, but through an indirect way. It's not how to move your arm; it's how to move your mind.
There are 6 elements: laughter, honesty, generosity, loyalty,
kindness, magic,
and
magic,
plutonium.
Plutonium. But yeah, that could I would totally see her challenged in each way. Maybe she would learn.
You could have it like a tiny, like if she goes to a new place, maybe like the place where she gains the epiphany is the one where, there's just like a subtle thing that teaches her the lesson of the week.
I was gonna say you could have 4 lessons, one for each element, and so like when you learn Earth, it'd be something about being determined and standing your ground, which is especially hard to do when you have no bending, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to be tough against somebody. When she learns water, it might be something about adaptability or caring for other people, the healing thing.
Okay, so there'd be like 12 lessons then. No, wait, no, not 14 lessons then.
How are we doing the math there?
4 elements plus one for each of the chakras. There's 7 chakras.
That's true.
And then one for how to be a woman and one for how to be a man. And to be a man, you need to be as swift as a coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, and mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Yep. And to sing a song.
Be a man, you must be swift as a
And then the other characters, they'd be learning too. And Janora would be involved here somewhere, and as a sort of spiritual prodigy who is understanding some subtle things about spirits and senses stuff from the spirit world.
Maybe Tenzin has to travel around a lot, and he's bringing his family, but he sends Janora.
He could be a diplomat type of a guy.
He could be a diplomat, so he sends his family away, but Janora sneaks along with with Korra, but make sure she's not like the annoying pint-sized brat.
Yeah,
Like,
you're thinking of Janora's sister is the annoying one, really.
Well,
but
yes,
yeah.
but actually I'm thinking of like all the other stories where a child sneaks along on the incredibly dangerous journey and serves no purpose other than enemy bait.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that, yeah. Someone should tell her, you're just a child. Aang was just a child. She's got a point.
Toph was just a child, and she could do this. Suddenly Earth bends. Janora's the real Avatar! Korra was faking it!
Yeah.
She just uses really creative water bending.
Alright.
Although I did see this one really hilarious comic where Korra is speaking to her parents. Look, Mommy, look, Daddy, I can bend. Oh, show us, sweetie. And she firebends. Now, when you say that this girl is mine, and Korra's mom is sweating really profusely. Although I did see this other really amazing
shouldn't I go the other way?
What?
If the mother is saying, "Are you sure this girl's mine?"
No, the dad was saying that to the girl's mom.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, there was this other really interesting comic that I saw. They never continued it, but I really wanted to see how it would conclude.
Yeah.
Janora was staring at the statue of Avatar Aang, saying, "I really wish I could meet you one day, Grandpa. I feel I'm never going to learn up to your example." And then like the doctor shows up and he acts like the doctor. And she's like, "Who are you?" And the author said, "Oh, maybe like I could write this comic," and then he never did.
Wait, did she's talking about meeting her grandfather? Does she show up and say, "Well, I told you one day I would come back"? And it's the first Doctor. Remember, this is his last lines to Susan. One day I will come back.
Oh my God, that is the most brilliant thing ever.
So it turns out, you imagine a surprise crossover.
Oh my God, yes.
The show.
I was thinking this whole time about how to make my own version of this, like how we did Ava. But that's actually, fuck it. That is my new thing.
All right.
The season 2 is 1 episode long. It involves the first Doctor coming. No, it involves 11 coming back and saying, "Hello, Susan." Series over.
Oh, that'd be cool. But yeah, so she'd sneak along and she'd be trying to help. You know what? Her dad, because of all this conflict, is under physical threat. He's going to conflict zones all the time, trying to talk things out and whatever, and someone's tried to assassinate him and stuff. So Janora feels she has to go with Korra to help fix whatever's wrong with the world.
But make sure she's useful and not pretentious.
And not pretentious, no. But she understands something. She should, what she should do? She should recite like poetry or something about spirits. Like she's actually deeply studied this, and you get the sense of like she knows something we don't. And seeing things, have more foreshadowing of her seeing stuff and being useful in that way and so forth. Maybe, yeah, she figures out some. Unalaq could teach Korra some of the spirit pacification stuff, and then like Janora picks up on it, and you're like, you're not even a bender. How did you have a thing with spirits? Apparently, and it could be like a thing,
I learned from this really weird centipede guy. Ko crawls over her shoulder. Hello, Avatar.
Now I was gonna get to Ko. This is something I told you before.
Janora's a nightmare bender. She bends your nightmares.
This is.
Then Luna comes up. Hello, we were summoned to this location. I'm determined to make all the crossovers today.
So Ko is so awesome. This is one scene wonder from the first show, and I think that he should be a spirit shows up in the second show. And so what I do is so the binding of Vatu is a binding made by man and spirit together. And it can only be completely undone via both. Essentially, it's a huge binding thing. You have to make world war. You have to take the Avatar's powers away, or at least that helps. And you have to have a spirit-man combination working in tandem. So it's no wonder why no one mentioned this to Aang earlier, because Vatu is really well sealed up. And it makes Unalaq all the more awesome for slowly undoing the entire trap. You know what he should do? Because Wan accidentally freed Vatu in the backstory. He should make some remark about, doing what Wan did, but better. And on purpose.
Yeah. Let's leave that off of the flyers. Doing what Wan did, but better and on purpose. I'm thinking that might not be the most effective slogan.
Yeah,
bringing balance to the human and spirit worlds. Yes. Doing what?
All right, but there's a way you could phrase it.
Not fucking
up. Okay, yeah, true. But so he needs a spirit to be his partner, and he partners up. He can go like to the spirit world now and then. There's like some potion or something way you can do that with ley lines. I don't know. I'll work out the details. We will work out these details, and they will make sense. We're not going to be vague the whole time. We will be vague for right now, but eventually we would get all the details.
I'm sorry, you said he takes a human partner. All I'm thinking of is a buddy comedy between like Shaft and Vatu. One is an ancient spirit of destruction. The other is a black man with a badge. Together, they fight crime. Oh, that's my other idea. First one is that Janora is actually Susan. The other is buddy cop show with Vatu and Shaft. Yes.
Wow, we need to make some posters for this stuff. That'll be awesome.
They fight crime.
My other just very random thing is to throw that backwards. Vatu as a badge, and the other is just a really old white guy. One is an elderly spirit, and the other is a black guy with the badge. I don't know. It's just very, very random.
I can imagine it. These drug dealers have got us pinned down. Ping, 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 ping. Any suggestions, Vatu? I will rain destruction over all of creation. Yeah, good idea. You flank it from the left. Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, man. Okay, so back to Ko.
Why do we want to go back to Ko? I want buddy comedy with Vatu.
That's true. But Ko is cool. So he partners up with Ko. And
he's the police chief.
He partners up with Ko, and Ko. I love my idea for Ko's motivation here. Ko is just toying with the entire planet, including both worlds and Gaia, because he does not care. There's this
The fucks I do not give.
He has this creepy conversation with Korra at one point, where he says, as he's like, creepily crawling around in and out of shadows. I am old. I am older than anything you have ever seen or indeed imagined. I am older than the mystic disc. That's impossible. And yes.
I remember when it was carried on the back of a turtle with 4 elephants on it.
Yeah,
No.
The backs of the elephants
Squeak
on the
wishes.
turtle.
Squeak wishes.
Yeah. No, but he would say, I'm older than the mystic disc. And he would say, my home is in the outer dark. So it matters not one whit to me if your world lives or dies. Though I hope it will be entertaining in the meantime. And just crawls away. Or poofs away or something,
No, have him crawl into a hole.
Yeah.
Just like and then like Korra shines some light on it, and it's not even a real hole. It's more like a shallow indentation in the rock. Meaning he just crawled into nothingness.
Yeah, he would do. Oh, I want to see him crawl straight through rock. Like he just does not. He's like from yeah. He's some sort of like alien, except not like green Martian dude. He's like alien of our metaphysical world thing.
He's like a Cthulhuid abomination.
Yeah, he's like a minor Cthulhuid who's toying with you because it's fun. And we don't kill him by the end of this series, man. It's gonna get to the.
Of course, toying with you for fun just brings to mind all sorts of really immature shit. Like he's really close to Janora. I'm not touching you.
Oh my god, he should totally haunt Janora. That should be a thing. Like she's in tune with the spirit world, but then she's in tune with the nightmares of the spirit world too. And Ko just like pursues her for shits and giggles. Oh god! And then she'd have to like find somebody to like dissuade it. Like push him.
Well,
to
maybe there's like
area.
we see like an insane asylum, and they keep rambling about the outer god, the chittering, the horrible chitin.
The chitter. Yeah.
And it turns out that they're not insane. Okay, well, they are insane now, but the reason that they're insane is that Ko picks on those who are spiritually sensitive because they can perceive him, and it's fun for him to torture them.
Wow, yeah.
That's what happened to Avatar Kuruk's wife. She was sensitive, which drew Avatar Kuruk to him, to her. But it also drew Ko's attention.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it drew Ko's attention.
Okay, Fire Nation, you're gonna stop invading. It's so not fabulous.
Oh, the stereotypical Avatar. No,
Burly Bear, the last gay bender.
Okay,
I am going to hell.
We're totally cool with gay people in real life. We just make stupid jokes about everything. Just so you know. But yeah. So yeah. I love that Ko causing insanity. It's a very Cthulhuid thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. And Unalaq would help him with that, right? Unalaq would say, "Hey, this guy who works for the king of so and so, or the governor of this province, that guy is sensitive. Go mess with him for this month before I attack, and that will cause him to see things. You know what I mean?" Mm-hmm. And so you'd have more reason to slowly draw the connections between them. So I'll go ahead and say the climax, how that was going to work. So basically, we open up the last ley line, which winds up opening the path to Gaia. Go frick ourselves. We've been doing it wrong this whole time, which allows the chains. I think I want like several layers of chains, actually. These are little chains called reason A. These are from reason B, and you can see one and the other coming apart. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we get in there. And Vaatu is, free enough anyway for Unalaq to access him. Like, he leaves, like, one chain on there, but he can still get his spiritual energy. And so he drains the energy out of him and becomes the next, becomes, like, super...
The Titan.
Becomes, like, a Titan type of thing, right.
Titan lock.
So Korra gets in there at the last minute along with her friends. And Katara, by the way, has been involved in the rest of the show. She pops up in meaningful ways several times. So Korra gets in there and just, goes Avatar state and starts fighting with the Unalaq Titan thing. And Unalaq, after a little bit, realizes, basically. Vaatu bursts out of him like a chest burster.
Yes!
Because Vaatu is totally untamable. When you draw Vaatu into yourself, he emerges from you. You'd play with evil like a toy here. Evil's not a toy, that old trope. So it becomes just plain old Vaatu, essentially, with... I want to do like Unalaq's mind is locked in there somewhere, like, no.
This was a stupid plan.
Isn't this so cool that he could be like so badass, and this other thing is so much a demon that it's even a level above him. It's like Thanos being higher than Loki. You know what I mean? If you don't.
In the movie.
In the Avengers, yeah, in the movie Avengers, yeah. So he turns into Vaatu essentially. And they fight, and of course Korra's down. And I probably want to go like she somehow. You know what she should do? She is this whole series, this whole show has never, at least never consistently, been able to contact her previous lives right? That's like always been a spiritual block for her for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this, epic moment, she does contact like all of them, and they all show up in ghostly form in Gaia, and does the epic thing of, by the passion of the spirits, by the knowledge of the humans, I bind thee, and re-binds Vatu, and all the freaking chains go back, and he screams, and Unalaq screams inside of him, and they're both, put down in the chains in the same spot. We bring it back to where Juan brought it, all those years ago. And then she starts to die, right? Because she's...
Okay, perhaps the waving my arms in the air like I just don't care was not the right response to she's going to die.
Listen, in our new version of Korra, you wouldn't want her to die. But anyway.
Challenge accepted, buddy.
So she starts to die because that's how it works. And she tells people, I'll be reborn. I had to do this. And Katara is there. And Katara says, no, it's not your time. And does basically the world's awesomest healing thing where she sacrifices her own life
kind of like
to save Korra.
Kind of like Elder Chio with Gaara.
Uh,
Naruto, basically Gaara dies and Elder Chio is like, no, he has to survive. He's the Kazekage. And sacrifices her life in order to bring Gaara back from the dead.
Right. So this would be a great send-off to the old series, to Katara, to all that bit. And then we have a thing where like maybe Korra meditates or something later and we see Katara's spirit with Aang's spirit. Like he's managed to call
somehow
her.
Zhao is there too. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. He grabs the avatar. Yes, I've got you. Okay, but now what? Also, how am I here?
Right, so we would delve into the afterlife, and where dead people normally go, and somehow you would have to make sense. So like, okay, Katara can be with Aang's spirit. That's something he could do as the avatar, and there's a whole cycle of life and death, maybe, or something like that. Maybe everyone's reincarnating. I don't know. You could kind of do that. But only the Avatar was implied to be the one we care about. Anyway.
Really, I'd care about Sokka reincarnating. That sounds
no,
awesome.
that's true. So there's this whole thing. So Ko helps out Unalaq when he does like the final, draw the power like a battery thing. And then sort of steps aside. And we have the whole epic battle, and we rebind him, and we seal him forever. And Ko's off to the side and is totally unfazed. Just goes, well, that was entertaining. And then, like, crawls out of the floor, down through the floor, you know what I mean? Like, just into nothing. No, you know what he should do? He should crawl, like the edges of Gaia should just be empty space.
Wait,
like
is there like a yin-yang symbol on the floor?
On the ceiling, whatever. But go ahead.
He crawls into the dot in the center of the white one. Even though it's been previously established, like, Korra been getting hit and slamming into that spot. He just crawls into there.
Crawls. I was thinking, like, if the area around it... Well, the area around it could change. It could be all cool and shifting. But let's say at one point, at least, it's a star field, There's, like, specks of light kind of flying everywhere. And Ko climbs out into the blackness where there's nothing to stand on, but he just climbs out onto it anyway and, like, worms his way into the distance. And, and then we're distracted because Korra's dying, But it's just like, what the hell is that guy? He's, like, so creepy and so cool, and he does not give a damn about anything. It was a freaking game, and he doesn't die or anything. He gets away with it. It would just be so unique, So yeah, I thought that'd be cool. And then Korra obviously gets to live, and presumably has a great life thereafter. That would be the end of the show. Those are pretty much the ideas I had. I'm sure Varric could be in there somewhere, and he'd be cool. I like the idea of Varric. I'd like, maybe Varric, I would do his arc he's the conniving businessman sort of to begin with, and then he develops a heart, and sacrifices profits to help people more by the end.
Yeah, he develops a heart. And outside of what his biolabs are doing, he also grows a conscience.
You know what? He would totally phrase it that way. Well, I developed a heart. In my biolab on the southern continent. But also I had a conscience. So.
But I also had a conscience. So I squished that little...
Yeah.
But then I started to feel like doing good things. And that's the end of the joke.
You could totally make a meme out of Do the Thing. Like, he said it first to Julia, and then eventually, like, when Korra is hoping to bind him, he, like, runs into Gaia. So, Korra! Do the thing!
That needs to be a meme. That needs to be a meme.
It's just everything. Oh, yeah, if... You know what I would do? if in the third series, some other Avatar, there'd be the memorial to Korra someplace, right? And there'd be a separate one by Varric with a tombstone. Korra, she did the thing. Yes, she did. You may have noticed I skipped Esna there entirely. If she's gonna be in there, it would have to be discovering her father is evil, and that becomes like a big deal, and maybe has an actual meaningful romance with Bolin that could be possible. I still would. I guess I should have her in there because I like that moment of, "Hey, I'm sorry, your dad is dead," or in this case, trapped for eternity, but roughly the same, right? So, and
we'll throw him a deck of cards later.
We'll throw him a deck of cards later.
Okay. 3 6s. BS. It's not much fun when there's only two. It's not much fun playing BS when there's only 2 people, and we can read each other's minds.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that would all be cool.
Just imagining Unalaq driving Fatu insane. 999,999,998 bottles of beer on the wall. 999,999,999,999
bottles of beer.
Oh dear God, you actually went up that time. Got to start over then.
That sounds like a good fan comic. Yeah. Many other elements I missed off really. We'd have better tactics in battles between people. They'd be developing their tanks, they'd be... I like the technological development thing we had in the first series.
Season.
Well, yeah, but mainly the first series, it was a big shock.
Yeah.
The freaking blimp is bigger now.
War balloons. Wow, that's so... Oh my, they developed Zeppelins.
Yeah. Cool stuff. And the complex politics thing. I love this in Star Trek: The Next Generation, where you have like these complex political situations, and everyone has their own motivations, and someone's got to be Picard stands up for civil rights and like ideals and stuff. It isn't all just fighting, And Korra would learn to be more like that. Plenty of fighting, I'm sure, but like
and go bald too.
And go bald, maybe.
And get possessed by the board.
And you know what? Maybe she'd be gay too. Why not? We could just have a lesbian Avatar. She falls in love with a girl sometime. I'll just throw that in there.
Yeah, Nick would never go for that, but God, I would wish it.
I'm not saying that in a perfect way.
Make her bi.
I'm saying that in a simple gay rights way. There's not enough gay characters on these shows,
And make her bi. That would be more.
That's cool too.
That would be more acceptable to audiences because it could mean we could still have hetero romance. Plus, there's plenty of. Honestly, there's lots of gay and bi people.
Maybe that's why she has a fight with her dad. He's a homophobe of some kind.
Oh, okay. But
wow,
in reality, there are gay men who identify themselves as Korra-sexuals. They're like, yeah, I'm gay, but...
You know what? I embrace all the colors of the rainbow. That's fine.
I embrace all the colors of the rainbow. And aside from my preference for Skittles, I also say gay is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I hit pretty much every element.
Okay, my turn
Your
now.
turn.
50 minutes in.
Yeah, I can talk, man.
Yes, you can.
So can you.
Okay, first off, Amon survives.
So wait, are you saying season 1 happened as is?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, good.
Amon survives as is. But he wasn't telling the entire truth about what happened when he left his home.
Okay.
Who was the bad guy?
Which bad guy?
Not Noah Talk.
Tarlok?
Tarlok, yeah. Tarlok actually ran away from home the day after Unalaq left.
Okay.
Which saved his life.
From his abusive father, right.
No, not from his abusive... Okay, partially from his abusive father.
Okay.
But mostly from what really happened.
Okay.
What really happened was when he went off into the snow and stuff...
Which he? Tarlok?
Amon.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't remember Amon's real name.
I'm just going to go with Amon.
Yeah, Amon went off into the snow. He found his way to the spirit portal.
Okay.
And...
Is it open at this time? Or is it just sitting there?
Well, see, I won't have it so that it's either on or off. It fluctuates.
Oh, okay. Like with the seasons or the changing of the stars, something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's able to enter the spirit world, and he survives and meets up with a water spirit that allows him to refines his understanding of bloodbending.
Okay.
To the point where he can do amazing things. He plans to go and use this understanding of bloodbending to heal people.
Ah.
Well, sort of.
See, well, what do you mean, sort of? Is it?
I'm rethinking this.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can brainstorm as we go. Yeah.
Or at least make lots of money off of it.
Okay. You didn't want to make it super pure. Okay.
Maybe even teach people as a way of defying. Oh, okay. We don't need the Avatar's help. Because that was a thing. Like he said, only the Avatar is more powerful than us.
So he wants to just be the best bender he can possibly be, and maybe like set up a school or something and be like, how awesome I am.
Yes, at the time that was his motivation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, him entering the spirit world did not go unnoticed.
Okay.
And something else noticed as well, that the portal was open.
All right.
Enter Ko.
Enter Ko. Everyone loves Ko.
Yeah. That little village where he lived, It wasn't the entire Southern Water Tribe, and Ko gets stronger with every person he absorbs, shall we say.
Okay.
Yeah, after Tarlok leaves, that town is getting wiped off the map.
All right. Wow. I see.
And despite what he said, he still loved his mother,
Amon,
in this story.
Right.
And he sees what he accidentally unleashed by traveling to the spirit world.
So we should probably make it that he had to do sort of flip a switch or something, do an incantation, which opened it. Because if it was going to open at that time of day anyway, what does it matter, right?
Well, it's unpredictable when it opens and closes.
So you need to make it sort of his fault if he's going to feel guilty about it. So it's got to be like the opportunity was there. I guess you said Ko noticed him? Is that it? So Ko sensed him psychically and then it must be open today.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
It's why he's located in an area... Ko is located in an area so near to the...
Well, we didn't go through a portal last time we saw him. But
last time we saw him, Aang got into the spirit world very near to the spirit portal.
Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Go ahead. Yeah.
But then again, that means I'm mapping the spirit world one-to-one to the real world.
Yeah, I'm sure it's weirder that way.
Yeah, but...
So Ko could just move around in a way that keeps him still as far as the real world is concerned? That could be kind of cool.
Yeah. You know? But anyway, and he decides, fuck that. I hate spirits.
Okay.
I really hate spirits.
Right.
And that's been his motivation the whole time.
Just to get rid of spirits.
Yes, except that bloodbending away spirits the way he does it has a side effect. It drains a small amount of energy and permanently makes him stronger.
He's bloodbending spirits now?
No, he's bloodbending the Season 1 happens pretty much as is. So he's removing people's bending. Okay. He takes a tiny bit of energy from each of them.
What does that have to do with spirits, though? That's just bending.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
Contrary to what he told Korra, he wants to destroy the Avatar. Because he wants to destroy the link between the human world and the spirit world.
Okay. So he's trying to gain enough power to do that? Is that what you're going
He's trying to get enough power to fight the Avatar and remove her bending. Permanently. Destroying the Avatar's spirit. Okay.
So he's removing people's bending.
But he doesn't say any of this because he doesn't want to be like, I'm telling you my entire plan.
Okay, so he wants to essentially remove Korra's bending because that would frick spirits up and that would save us all from the spirits, especially Ko, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that his ideas make sense. He wants to help people.
He's extremist in a way.
Yes, he's
so
extremist.
He dresses it up under the language of equalism because he can actually make a revolution that way, and people aren't going to turn against the spirits the way they will turn against their bending masters, so to speak.
Right.
Also, this gives him the perfect excuse to take people's bending away all the time and gain himself more power.
Precisely, because bending is just like people who are able to channel spiritual energy.
So he should...
A combination of genetics and... genetics, your soul, and your mind are what allow you to bend, So
does he start, after he's, absorbed, 50 firebenders, does he start bending fire, in secret?
No, he just...
It's stronger in a different way?
Stronger in a different way.
We should give him some sort of spirit power then, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he hasn't reached that point yet.
Right. He's been slowly getting there. Okay.
Yeah. He eventually tries to debend Korra, but it doesn't work because she still has airbending. So it wasn't complete. He wasn't ready to take all the energy of Korra's spirit.
So when you... Okay, so because she had not yet attained airbending, there wasn't, enough... He couldn't harvest the whole thing.
No, he couldn't harvest the whole thing anyway.
Oh, okay.
it's just it just limited itself to, okay, she might have been able to do like some bending, but it was so pathetic that it was non-noticeable.
Okay. So basically, he tried it and it didn't work.
Yes.
Because he wasn't good enough yet.
And then same thing happens. He escapes. His brother tries murder-suicide thing. He survives and is rescued by equalists.
Oh, okay.
Who are loyal to him.
Right, yeah.
Instead of just to the cause.
Yeah, we might want to change that bit where he was exposed a little bit or something. Well, yeah, I guess it could be his top men or something that don't even care either way.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, so then season 2 rolls around, Unalaq is honest about what he wants.
Interesting.
Basically that he feels that the world has fallen out of spiritual balance.
Okay.
What he means by that is he wants the world to have more spirits, by which he means he's going to unleash Vatu to destroy the world of men and its technology, and bring it back to the way it was at the time of the last harmonic convergence.
So he's like a flip of Amon then. Amon hates the spirits and Unalaq
Precisely.
hates the men. So he's like a self-hating bigot almost. Like if Unalaq is human and generally hates humans, right?
Yeah, self-hate. People who write things about how humans are awful and terrible, yeah, that's so rare.
I didn't say it was rare. I'm just saying it's interesting. That's it. He's like a black guy who thinks that black people are lazy.
Okay, I wouldn't use that example.
Okay, that's separate. You know what I mean? Though it's the feeling we as a species are terrible and we need to wipe ourselves out. Except maybe for me, but I'm a slight exception. Or he could wipe himself out.
Well, he doesn't plan to wipe out humanity. He just wants to return things to the way they were because he feels it was better when...
So what makes him feel that way? Is he like, he's seen too much of the cruelties of man and he thinks that spirits are nicer to each other? Or is it like...
Kinda, yeah.
Something like that, okay.
Something like that. Mostly the way he gained his spiritual knowledge... The way he gained his spiritual knowledge, he traveled the world. He saw all the horrors that the Fire Nation committed upon the world. He saw Kyoshi Island and heard how humans keep on raising up armies to try to conquer the world, and all they do is destroy it again and again and again.
That'd be interesting, like a kind of a philosophical guy who turns out also wants to destroy society, Mm-hmm. You think he's just sad about things, but actually no, he's very active about it on the side. I could use that even if not for Unalaq himself. I could give that to a third-party character in my version of events, too. It's an interesting idea.
So, the first 2 episodes go off as planned.
Okay.
They unlock the spirit portal, dark spirits attack, they invade the south.
The dark spirits, why are they dark in this version? Has Unalaq made them dark, or are they dark for another reason? Is there Vatu in this version?
I'm actually toying with the idea that there is no Vatu.
There's no Vatu, so the spirits are dark. Is he convinced that spirits are turning dark because their world is out of balance?
Yes, that's what he's convinced of.
And so he needs to basically, fix things by letting the spirits run rampant.
Yes.
Otherwise, they'll run rampant in an evil way.
He wants to free Vatu, but he doesn't know that Vatu died years ago. And that when he died in such a way that... Well, you know how when the spirits are destroyed, they turn into sparklies?
Yeah.
Those were absorbed by a bunch of spirits.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's kind of what causes dark spirits, but it can also be communicable.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I get it. It's like a virus thing. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, for years, there's been this undercover spirit virus running through the spirit world, which explains why things have been... Remember the episode where it's revealed that human emotions can affect spirits?
Yeah.
It works both ways.
Oh.
So the reason why the Fire Nation has been... And there's been so many wars and conquests and stuff over the years, is that the 2 worlds are interfering with each other. The hatred from the human world against their human neighbors fuels the spirits, which are also being fueled by the dark spirits, which fuels the humans.
So this would seem to say that Amon really has a point about cutting off the connection.
They both have points.
Interesting. So
because in the first series, we see that technology is good, but at the same time, people can use... It can be used for dark intentions.
Absolutely.
Like taking over Republic City, wounding and killing and maiming.
Yeah.
But here, we also see that going back to nature and letting spirits take over everything and destroying all the works of man is also bad. So we need a middle ground.
Though Amon wasn't straight up technology as much as get rid of spirit. Well, I guess it's similar, isn't it?
He was hiding his true motives.
He was,
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so Korra is deceived by Unalaq at first.
Okay.
And is successfully deceived. Like when her dad is part of the party that's... Her dad gets arrested, she at first thinks that's justified. She doesn't like it, but it's justified.
Okay.
And so she goes around the world finding sites of great spiritual significance and trying to... There's more portals in this version.
Okay.
There's 6.
Okay.
4 spots on the equator and a spot on the north and a spot on the south.
Okay.
These are the linchpins of the earth through which spiritual energy flows. Okay, so Korra goes around to these places, opening them up, getting ready to, reunify the world and make it spiritually balanced so that these dark spirits will be cleansed, is what Unalaq claims.
Okay.
Keep in mind that this is kind of a really rough sketch.
Yeah, I get it. It's fine.
And then, like, one of them, she's getting ready to unlock it, and she felt really super confident because the other 2 that she did were really, really easy. So she just goes it alone. That's when Amon shows up.
Okay.
And it's been, like, kept quiet the whole time, and, like, it looked like he was destroyed at the end of last season.
Dead, yeah.
Like, he says, well, Avatar, we meet again.
I can see him doing that.
I remember that once I took away your bending. I suppose there's no reason I can't do it twice. And then they fight, and Korra gets her ass handed to her, but she manages to escape. Then the spirit portal collapses. It ceases to exist.
Okay.
This is naturally bad.
Yeah.
Like, massive storms start showing up. Spirits in the water start freaking out because it's necessary for them to open and close at random the way they were because it kind of balances out.
A release valve type of thing.
Yeah. The spirit world relies on natural energies to keep it in check. And the real world relies on the spirit world to keep its natural energies in check.
Okay.
Yeah,
So basically we would get like hurricanes and they would get like crazy dark spirits or something.
More dark spirits.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I haven't really thought this 100% of the way through, but eventually we'd get Unalaq fighting Amon.
That would be interesting. Let's see. How would we get there?
Okay.
So Amon was just fighting Korra, and
he's trying to sever the connection between the worlds.
And he does so as far as this one portal is concerned, yeah. So that fricks things up. So then I guess Unalaq would be pissed to try to find out who did that.
And
find
this
out Mom did it. Yeah.
Unalaq basically gets so angry, he actually starts, lashing out. And this allows Korra to see, hey, maybe this guy isn't exactly all spiritual and enlightened.
Right. He would be like demanding, we have to find him on now, we have to do crap about this. And
I want him dead! I want his family dead!
Yeah.
I want his house burned to the ground!
Yeah. Alright, and then I guess he would try and like re-establish that portal or something. Which could make for a spot of conflict between the 2 of them.
He sacrifices a spirit in order to do that.
He sacrifices a spirit in order to do what Unalaq does then?
Unalaq does.
He likes the spirits, but I guess
he likes the spirits.
He would sacrifice one to make he might as well sacrifice a human if sacrifices are allowed here.
Okay, good. Have him do
He tries to sacrifice Janora.
Yep, that's where I was actually going.
Right.
He tries to sacrifice Janora in order to open up the spirit portal again.
I could see this being a pretty epic scene, yeah.
And he's partially successful. The portal is opened, but Janora's alive.
Okay.
However, exposure to the massive amount of spirit energy awakened her latent
abilities,
spiritual detection abilities.
You know what I thought would be kind of cool is if she gets sacrificed and dies, sort of, but then her spirit shows up in the spirit world, like just without a body. Like we find her later. Also, very randomly, I was just thinking earlier of how's the afterlife work and whatever. And wouldn't it be cool if we go to their version of hell or something and frigging Amon shows up? Like, oh, you're still existent, man. Goes for whatever. I don't know how that ties in at all, but just, I remember having a cool image of his mask coming out of the darkness, and you're like, oh shit, I thought you were dead. I am dead. And he, tries to stab you in the face.
Your mom's dead. That wasn't very good. Shut up. No, I want him alive, just because he's such a cool villain.
He is, yeah.
And that would be really interesting, having two villains playing off against each other with opposing goals.
So then Korra eventually kind of has to like take them both down and like lock them up or something, to permanently end the threat.
No. Amon gets away again. Unalaq doesn't get away in time. See, the final battle takes place in this temple in the spirit world.
Okay.
It was constructed by the dark spirits as a result of their being possessed by the... Oh, wait, I just realized this is kind of similar to what I described for how I'd redo Evangelion. They were possessed by shards of Adam, the animals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whoops.
Well, you're making both of these up as you go along. It only makes sense to recycle some of the ideas. That's fine.
Okay, but anyways, the dark spirits finally all converge on this temple because it's the harmonic convergence. It's time to rumble again.
Okay.
But he's not complete. So he starts absorbing other spirits in the area, other energy sources. Mm-hmm. Like the water starts freezing as he absorbs the heat energy in order to reforge himself. Amon only escapes because the water spirit that helped him before shows up and saves him.
Okay.
Leading him to think, hey, maybe not all spirits are bad.
Right,
possibly.
Right, okay.
Or maybe just like, even if it's just for a moment, just like...
Yeah.
But then... Unalaq is like, yes, go forth, Vaatu, destroy, return the world to the paradise it once was. Mm-hmm. Right before he gets a tentacle through his chest and gets his soul ripped out of his body.
Yep. I can imagine Unalaq being like sort of religious fanatic at that moment.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Then we have a final battle between Vaatu and Korra.
So Amon gets away, Unalaq gets eaten by Vaatu essentially, and then Korra fights Vaatu and destroys him, seals him up.
Actually seals him up inside of the Tree of Time.
The Tree of Time, yeah. Yeah, I feel like you could do cool stuff with the Tree of Time as a thing by itself and not just a prison. And not as a Deus Ex Machina either.
Oh, and then it's revealed that in doing that, Vaatu accidentally set into motion certain events that went back in time through the Tree of Time and resulted in him being shattered in the first place.
Wow. Well, there you go. That would be...
Well, part of the reason that he was shattered is because, there are four basic bending spirits. Mm-hmm. One is the Moon Ocean, which is one spirit in two bodies.
Right.
There's Agni, the spirit of the sun.
Okay.
And then there's two more, one for air and one for water.
Sure.
I mean, one for earth.
Earth, yeah.
Long ago, they decided, we're sick of your shit, Vaatu, and shattered him.
Okay.
Once and for all.
So, they shattered him having been previously imprisoned, or the prison thing didn't happen?
The prison thing didn't happen.
Okay. Okay, decide.
Actually, no. Wait, yeah.
Okay.
And Avatar 1 was someone who managed to convince Rava that for the good of both worlds.
Okay, so they were just peacemakers. They didn't have a specific relationship to Vaatu then.
Right.
That's fine. Yeah.
Or well, Rava did, but this was after he was gone.
Okay.
She met Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the four basic spirits. The thing is that with each of those the four elemental sites around the spirit portals on the equator, those are where their energy enters the world as well.
Okay.
So it's not just release. The ones at the top and bottom of the world are release valves.
Okay.
The ones on the side of the world are where
each of the four elemental energies come in.
Yeah, so when Amon destroys one, that happens to be the Airbender's one.
Interesting.
Which is why air goes out of control once the thing closes, but it prevents Tenzin and his kids from bending.
Ah. Okay. So that ties into something else later, or just that's a general problem for them?
That's a general problem for them.
Okay.
And later the water portal also gets closed. Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking randomly now, with this Tree of Time thing, you talked about going back and changing it. You could do an entire third series, people messing with the Tree of Time, and they could actually visit previous points of other shows and, mess with everything, and it would be all confusing but cool. And then the Doctor shows up.
That's interesting. Previous points of other shows. Oh, wow. What kind of spirit are you? Count Baltar, there is a human inside of the command chamber. We shall exterminate by your command. Classic Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining suddenly Asami pops into Kit from Knight Rider. Where am I?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That would be pretty weird.
Dun, 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 dun.
But it would be a neat way to mess with
Actually,
everything. You could make us a movie off of that, really. The Tree of Time, Avatar: The Tree of Time. And it'd be all some villains messing with time, and we have to put it all back again by the end of the show.
I don't know. I don't know. There's something about that just kind of raises my hackles.
Because it all ends up being exactly the same as it was the first time?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just getting an Equestrian Girls vibe from it. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's no time travel there, but all right.
There's dimensional travel.
Yeah, time.
But I said I don't know why.
All right. But yeah, no, that's good stuff you have there. I like what you did with the motivations of Amon and Unalaq. I like that they're both well-intentioned extremists in their own way. And both of us stayed... Well, okay, no. I had Unalaq as the bad guy, but at least he was clever about it. Mm-hmm. And you went further to, like, no, there's no, like, one bad guy here. It's people that have their extreme viewpoints and they're causing chaos in the way they pursue it. It makes for, in-depth sort of stuff. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we need to go through the Tree of Time, deliver this video to the people that made Korra before they made Korra. And then...
Or maybe what if we did, and then they were like, yeah, these are good ideas, but what if instead we... And then
we ended up causing the problems. Yeah.
Excuse me.
But yeah, so there's our thoughts on how you would fix Korra.
Yep. So...
Is that it?
Yep. So I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're signing off.